What's going on, guys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to go over the 5-3-2. I now uploaded these tactics the other day in the whole set where I went for the 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2 and my current tactics, but everyone's asking me what did I change, what difference is there from the regular 5-3-2, which is this is basically a 3-3-4, don't forget. So I thought I'll go over them. I'm specifically going to go over the 5-3-2 and explain everything because I know you guys like why I went through everything, how the instructions and how the tactics, how they all tie in. Just before I start this video as well, if you want to get better at FIFA or you want to hit Elite for the first time or you just want to get better at FIFA in general, I've designed a FIFA School series. This can be found on patreon.com/NealGuides. Link will be in the description and down below. This is a full progressive learning system, so it's typical of my NealGuides fashion. These videos cannot be found anywhere else on the internet. This is basically in-depth tutorials explaining what to do from defense to attack, how everything works, how to stand tackling, how to defend. This is the core mechanics of FIFA, so whether you're playing FIFA 21 next year or FIFA 20, you'll have these all under your belt. It's only $9 a month. It's the cheapest service out there. Nothing competes right now. And just to give an example of how long and how in-depth some of these videos are, as you can see, some of the videos are almost an hour long. So if you really want to get better at FIFA and you want to get better at FIFA in the long run and you want to become generally a better player all around, check that out. Link will be in the description. As I said, full money back guarantee if you don't become better at FIFA. But without further ado, let's get straight back into the video. So 5-3-2. Now, many of you asked me how to do it, how do I set up, and what have I changed. Now, the reason why I made some changes is, first of all, there's kind of a knock between the 5-2-1-2 and the 5-3-2. They're both very good formations. Tomorrow I'll release an updated tactic which will encompass both of them. So I'll have a setup for the 5-2-1-2 and the 5-3-2. Now the 5-3-2 is a more defensive setup compared to the 5-2-1-2, because the 5-2-1-2 you don't have that extra centre mid. This is important. A lot of people always wonder why, because let's say Aubameyang in a situation as a cam. Again, it doesn't matter what team you use, but let's just say you use a cheap team, or in this case I have my cam Aubameyang. When you have him come back in defence, he sits in front. Now what happens is when you're outside your box is your opponent is if he's playing a 4-2-3-1, his diamond is basically just in front of the back five, and you only have two players to defend against it. That's why many people struggle with the 5-2-1-2. So that's why I kind of came to the conclusion that, you know what, maybe the 5-3-2 was better, and that's why I actually released the 5-3-2 first on my channel, because it was more stable, because you have three centre mids. Because don't forget, you can't have this left these two strikers coming back as like left wing and right wings anymore. Remember how they patched that? Remember the original 3-5-2, you could do that with the two strikers. You can't do it anymore, so that's why I released the 5-3-2 first. So I'll go over everything, why I chose one depth. So everyone's asking me, why do you choose one width? Sorry, not one depth, one width. I'll go over that as well. Now, the defensive style, I personally went with balanced. The reason why I went with balance is because pressure on heavy touch is not worth doing, especially with 5 defenders. You see, if you use pressure on heavy touch and any of these 3 players run out of position, then your backline is going to be what I like to call being naked. That means you're going to have space in between for your opponent to exploit. So it's really important you don't do pressure on every touch. Now, if you are losing, you can use team press. But I'll be honest, if you want to use team press, I would recommend using the 4-4-2 or another formation. The 5-3-2, because when you're defending, don't forget, there's no one occupying this space over here on either of these sides, where the 4-4-2 has a left mid and right mid. So you need to have more players forward. So using this formation isn't really the best, because when you're defending, you relegate yourself in a 5-3-2. Now when you're attacking, don't forget, these guys are going to go forward, and you're going to end up having a 3-3, and then you're going to have a 4 with the two strikers, the left back and the right back going forward. So I understand when you're defending, there's no point using this formation to press. So is this an all-out attack formation? It can be used in attacking formation, yes, but let's say, for example, it's 80 minutes, you need to get a guaranteed goal, you want to go all out. This is not the formation to use. I've got a formation on that coming out next week. Okay, so then the width, we're going 1. Now this is defensive width. So defensive width, understand that I'm not saying that you're going to be so, like, if you use the 4-2-3 on 1 width, you'll be like this, almost overload the ball side. But the reason why is because you have this left back and right back. If you have it too far wide, I find that there's sometimes there's too much of a big gap, and then there's a big gap between, you know, the centre mids, the left back, the right backs, and the centre backs. I don't want that space to be occupied, so I'd rather be more in a block. So even though it is 1 width, don't worry, it's not as narrow as you think. When you go into a game, it will just be a regular width. So basically, these guys will just be a bit more together, controlling the center, and these guys are be a bit more narrow. So what you can do is, if for example your opponent has the ball, let's say for example your opponent's got a midfield 4, if he's got the ball, either one of it, let's say he's got the ball with, for example, his right mid is out, you can then bring out your left back, and we wouldn't have to worry about there being a massive gap in this region, because the whole team would be narrow and kind of shrunk together. So that's kind of the reason why I went with 1. So it wasn't necessarily to be more defensive, just to cover up the holes in defense. Now, the depth we go with 4. Now, again, you don't want to be too far back with the left back, because left backs, they're going to bomb forward. As soon as you get the ball, they're going to go running forward. Now, if they're too far back, number one, you don't want them to be too far back anyway, because then they're going to be in this wing position. They're going to be doing nothing. You want them a bit higher up the pitch, so that way when your opponent's kind of passing the ball around, you can also attempt to be aggressive with them. So being too far back, that's why I haven't gone with 3 and I haven't gone with 2. Being too far actually negates the whole process. You don't want them to be too far forward either, because when you do that, compare like a 4-4-2 when you're pressing, if they're too far forward, you're going to leave massive gaps in between. So 4 gives the best balance. The reason why I choose 4, I don't just pluck these out of thin air. There's a reason why I choose 4. So that's why I've gone with 4. I recommend not changing these. I'll be honest, in this formation, I wouldn't recommend changing these. Now, offensive style, fast build-up play. Now, if you use possession or balanced, these 4 backs will not bomb forward. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter if you do attacking 4 backs, they will go forward, but very slowly. How they bomb forward and how they basically almost, you've probably seen the eye tracker video. If you haven't seen that, go check out that video on how I use the eye tracker and how I use the 5-3-2, and you can see my eye movement and see what I'm doing. They go forward, as I mentioned earlier, they run forward. So if your opponent's playing a 4-4-2, they're going to run past your opponent's left back and his right back. So that's what you want. You want the element of surprise. That's the key. You want to create confusion. Now, if you have this on balanced or possession, it doesn't really work. Now, long ball does somewhat work, but I'll be honest, fast build-up play is good because you want them to go forward. And when they've gone forward, you're going to have, as I said, you're going to have the 4 strikers, a left wing and right wing. You're going to have the 3 centre mids and you're going to have the 3 centre backs. So you're going to have a 3-3-4 when you're attacking. So that's why I've gone with fast build-up play. And a centre mids just goes forward a little bit more. That's it. So the reason why you want fast build-up as well, you want the 3 centre mids to go forward as well. So when you do get the ball down the wing, you have that support outside the box and also inside the box. Now, attacking width, we've gone with 1. Now, you can increase this, but what I realize is for lower tier players, now if you're below, I would say maybe gold 1. I would say leave this on 1. If you're above, I'd probably go on 5. The reason why is sometimes the players are too far away, and unless you use the R1 trigger to bring a player close, or you're quite patient, because I know players above gold 1 naturally are more patient players, they play more slow. But players below gold 1, you want to play quick, fast 1-2 football, you need a more of a narrow width. That's why I've gone with 1. And don't forget as well, it's quite a wide formation. So you want the 3 centre mids and the 3 centre backs. The most important thing is you want not too much of a big gap between these players, so that's why I've gone with a width of 1. So they're close together. So that means when you do get the ball on the wing positions, you can pass the ball to one of the 3 centre mids and then work the ball to your striker. That's the key. The 3 centre mids is really, really key in this formation. As I said, it's a more defensive variation, so when you do lose the ball, the most important thing is you're going to have 3 people in midfield, so that way you're going to have stability. So that's why it's important as well. That's why it's more defensive than a 5-2-1-2, should I say. Now, players in the box, I've gone with 5. You can adjust this to however you want. But personally speaking, because you have the 3 centre mids outside the box, I don't want too many players going in. I do have the centre mids on free roam, but I'll get on to that in a second. Corners with free kicks to however you please. Obviously, have them too high, you could be caught to counter-attack. Most importantly, corners, I will be honest, leave this on 1 or 2. Especially with this formation, it's best just leave this on 1 or 2. There is that kind of thing where everyone's inside the box anyway. But just to be safe, I'll leave this on 1 or 2 in my opinion. Now, when it goes over to, now the instructions is important. Now, the most important thing is comeback and offense. Now, why would you want these 2 strikers on comeback and offense? Because sometimes you're going to have these 3 centre mids and they're going to be isolated. You're going to have your back 5 and you're going to have 3 centre mids sitting in front. Then there's going to be a massive gap that your opponent can exploit here. With these players on comeback and offense, they're just going to be a bit more reserved. They're not going to come back literally. They're just going to be a bit more reserved, come back a little bit more. So I put comeback and offense. That way you can right stick switch to the strikers and bring them back. So this is important. The key is you want to right stick switch, and also you want them to be more reserved. So when you're building up, when you do get the ball, you can pass the ball to the wing and do a 1-2 down the wing as well when one of your fullbacks are running forward. So it's really, really important that you have someone here who's on comeback and offense for both, in my opinion. When you get the ball back forward, remember they'll still go attacking. But the most important thing is they're reserved. I put them on stay central because I don't want them going anywhere else. We've got the left mid and right mid already coming as left back and right back, so there's no point. Now, I do use target man. The reason why this is important, now if you're an elite player plus, I would use target man because you know what I'm talking about. You want to get the ball ready, 3 centre mids, you want to pass the ball to your striker, do a scoop turn, do an elastico, or do some sort of fake shot or do some sort of dribbling. You want them to stay still. Basically, you don't want them to move. Target man doesn't mean they're going to basically act like Giroud or whatever. All it means is that they're going to back into their opponent. So you want the ball coming to your feet so you can scoop turn either way. That's what I've gone with target man. But if you don't like it, you can leave it on balanced. That's what I would say. You leave it on balance. If you wanted this to be a more defensive option, which I'll go on to tomorrow, you can put it on false 9 for one of them. But again, don't do that. So I'll go balanced, come back and offense. 3 centre mids, all of them on stay back while attacking. This is important because you don't want to be creating gaps. You don't need any more players forward. If you want to bring a player forward, you can always put get forward. I'll have the progressive system out tomorrow. You can always put a player on get forward, like on one the wider players, but I wouldn't do it. You want the 3 players outside the box because most of the time your opponent's playing a 4-2-3-1 and he's got his 2 CDMs, so you want to work your ball around with 3 centre mids compared to the opponent's 2 CDMs, so you're outnumbering him statistically and numerically in midfield. Now, I've put them all on stay back while attacking. I put the left mid and right mid on cover wing. The reason why is what I found eventually is that I maybe can defend an aggressive way, but other people, they're not used to defending the way I defend. So cover wing that way, if this guy is far forward, at least your right centre mids and they'll try to fill in the void. So if these guys are too far ahead and there's a massive gap, these lot will sometimes come in for the void. They won't always, they'll stay in a position, but it just means they'll cover the wing if there is an opening. That's pretty much it. I put them all on stay back while attacking. The most important thing is cover center on the middle guy. He has to be on cover center. I have put free roam on the outside, left center mid or right center mid. It does work a little bit. Sometimes, the point is, if you want these guys to be roaming around randomly, they don't really make good movements. Don't think you're going to be doing some messy type stuff because it doesn't work like that. It kind of takes into account attack positioning and work rates, but it doesn't really work too well. But some people like free roam. You can use it. I prefer being on balance because you have, the 3 players in a line in midfield, so you can always pass the ball from a wing position back to them and work the ball around. But as I said, it's completely up to you. I just prefer to have more stability and players outside the box. That way I feel more safe and have more time to work the ball around. Now going over to the fullbacks, I have everyone on stay back while attacking. I have 3 centre backs also on stay back while attacking, and I have the goalkeeper on balance. The most important thing is the left back and right back. They're on stay back while attacking, but they're on overlap. So how do they go forward? Now people always get this confused. Overlap doesn't mean they're going to be running forward. Overlap is just defining their run type. It's like kind of like steering in a car. You're either going to steer the car to the left or to the right, but the car's not going to move forward until you accelerate. So the attacking runs is kind of like the acceleration, right? So right now this is just a steering. You're just choosing the run type. Is it, are they going inside or outside? Are they going inverted or outverted? Everyone always thinks that this is define the run type. It's not. It's just showing if they do make a run. That means if you trigger the run with an LB button or an L1 button, where they're going to make the run. The way they make the run is with the attacking runs. Now, because on stay back while attacking, you want them to stay back the entire game. So how do they make the bombing runs forward as well? Well, that's very simply done by the D-pad tactics. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. You press up on the D-pad tactics and then you press left. So you press up on the D-pads in the game and then you press left. This will bring up the attacking fullbacks or fullbacks during the attack option. So even though this is on stay back while attacking, if you activate the D-pad tactic, it gets overridden. So basically your fullbacks are going to go forward. It's like a light switch. So if you turn it off, attacking fullbacks, then they will go back. So that's how you create the element of having a 5-3-2 and then also the 3-3-4 on the fly. And that's how you also surprise your opponents. Tomorrow we're going to release the progressive tactics video explaining how to do it and how I set mine up alongside a 5-2-1-2. But I think that's what everyone's been asking me recently. I've been getting a lot of DMs regarding that. But anyway guys, for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's just be on a 5-3-2. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was a very quick one for today. I'll be back streaming again, twitch.tv/NealGuides. Link will be in the description down below. I'll be streaming my weekend league games there as well. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Take it easy and I'll catch you next time. Peace out boys.